There's really nothing in the world of sport quite like a domestic football cup. You see big teams and small teams compete on the same stage, and there are miracle comebacks and crazy upsets galore. And it's not just an English thing. Today we're going to talk about one of the craziest semifinals of all time, this from the 1984 Deutsche Pokal. The Deutsche Fußball-Bund Pokal, which you probably know as the German Cup, dates back to 1935, though the beginning of the modern cup really only goes back to 1952. It was originally a cup only for professional teams, and it was only open to the craziness of amateur teams starting in 1974. It was also largely untelevised. Clips like these of Weder Bremen beating obscure lower league side Alemannia Aachen in the round of 16 in 1984 probably come originally from TV news reporting and not from live video. Actually, the semifinal match that we're going to talk about today is the first time that a DFB Pokal semifinal was shown on live television in Germany. And I know that's kind of odd to think about. I mean, this was only 40 years ago. The first match we're going to look at featured Weder Bremen, who hadn't won the Pokal since 1961. Bremen were on the road against host Borussia Mönchengladbach, who had last won the Pokal in 1973. To give you some context, both Gladbach and Bremen were still in the Bundesliga title race at the time. The two clubs were essentially neck and neck. And so they got to it in front of over 34,000 fans at the old Buckelberg Stadion. Weder Bremen came out in green, and Borussia Mönchengladbach were wearing white. Though there was some good technical play on display, the beginning of the match was actually pretty quiet. Gladbach got the real first attack of the game, forcing a good save here. Bremen had an attack of their own a minute later, though it wasn't quite as impressive. Honestly, Gladbach looked the most likely to score in the beginning. And this was almost a huge mistake by Bremen. We had about a half hour or so of Gladbach attacks on goal. Bremen did have a few close attempts early on, though, like this one. This was another great defensive play. Meanwhile, the announcer kept praising the Bremen defense after plays like this. But then, seconds later, star player Lothar Matthäus scored for Gladbach. Now, the real interesting thing here is that Matthäus had already signed for Bayern München for the next season before this match was even played. It certainly didn't stop him from playing hard. Bremen responded with a goal of their own less than 2 minutes later, thanks to Norbert Meyer. Well, that set the tone for the rest of the match. Now, buckle your seatbelt because this is going to be a bumpy ride from here on out. Norbert Ringels for Gladbach scored right again afterwards, making it 2-1. It was 2-1 for Gladbach going into halftime. Bremen made an excellent save early in the second half. And then the big incident occurred. At first it looked like a smoke bomb, but that is no ordinary smoke. Players started falling down all over the place. The fight almost broke out. Turns out that somebody had launched a tear gas canister onto the pitch. The police took action, but the damage had already been done. Yet the thing that I find unbelievable about this is that they kept on playing. I mean, they didn't stop the match and postpone it. They just kept playing despite the fact that there were fans that were clearly impacted and there were players that were keeling over on the sidelines because of the tear gas. It's simply amazing. Gladbach followed up with this incredible save. And then Uwe Rahn scored again to make it 3-1. True to form, however, Bremen scored a little over a minute later. It was now 3-2 thanks to Benno Müllmann. Then, 3 minutes after that goal, Wolfgang Sittke for Bremen scored the equalizer off this free kick. And then, incredibly, Bremen scored yet again for its third goal in 5 minutes. It was now 4-3 Bremen thanks to Uwe Reinders. It's got to be one of the most dramatic turnarounds of all time, right? Well, it only gets better from here. Gladbach's equalizer here was ruled offside, but what do you think? Matthäus almost had another goal here. And then, mere seconds before time was up, Gladbach equalized through Hans-Jörg Kriens. We went to extra time after that shocker with the score knotted at 4-all. The back and forth continued. Matthäus had a case for a penalty here. This crazy tackle was called, and it was just outside the box. That free kick only led to a save. On the other end, Matthäus had the energy to fight for a free kick of his own. But nothing came of it. It remained tense for what felt like forever. And then tempers started to flare again. Gladbach finally scored to start the second half of overtime thanks to Hans-Jörg Kriens once again. And then Gladbach almost scored again here. And this was also really close. Bremen did have a chance at the end, but it wasn't to be. That was all she wrote. The final score was 5-4 in favor of Gladbach. I don't know what you guys think. For me, that was really one of the most incredible matches I've ever seen. And you know what? That's not the last one we're going to do from this tournament. So stay tuned for more to come, and make sure to subscribe.